there has been a current change in the law regarding suicides, which does make it a little bit easier for the surviving spouse to establish a compensable death claim. If a worker during his or her lifetime suffers a very serious industrial injury and then has an emotional reaction to that injury and then acts in an irrational manner and takes his or her life, the surviving spouse can actually pursue death benefits due to the injured worker's taking of his or her own life. In order to establish a compensable suicide death claim, however, there's a certain legal standard that we have to meet, and it does require the opinion of a competent doctor establishing a link between the death and the conditions allowed during the worker's lifetime. It's an unfortunate situation, but I have been personally very fortunate in winning suicide cases for widows. And it's a very difficult situation, obviously, for the surviving spouse. On the other hand, if the injured worker took his or her own life and it's rooted in the workers' compensation claim, then the surviving spouse has every legal right to pursue those death benefits, which are treated no differently than if the worker had died due to complications of the work-related accident, and the widow will enjoy financial security, or widower, for the rest of his or her life, again, non-stop till death, or unless there's a remarriage, and then there's a 2-year down repayment. And again, death benefits are payable in the year of the suicide, which are oftentimes a much higher death benefit to the widow than the claim that paid during the injured worker's lifetime when he or she was limited to the rate that was in effect in the year of injury. If I become aware of a situation where my client has committed suicide, first and foremost, I will personally call the widow and extend my condolences to her or him and the family. And, secondarily, but in a delicate way, try to find out a little bit about the facts and circumstances, behind that suicide. The last case I handled, the widow had told me that her husband was reading a Bible and had it opened up to a passage on suffering. Well, I did know that he had a very serious low back injury when he was alive. He had developed a very serious depression element as a result of that back injury, and I knew he was suffering horribly at the time he unfortunately took his own life. And after exploring it a little bit further with the widow and explaining to her her potential to recover benefits under workers' comp as a compensable suicide, she consented to an interview with a mental health specialist. We obtained all of the records that we had during his lifetime. The psychologist interviewed the widow, because these are state-of-mind cases. I mean, we have to figure out what the decedent's state of mind was when he took his life. After talking with the widow and her daughter, which was a very difficult time for her, obviously, and the widow, my psychologist was absolutely convinced that he took his own life because he was suffering horribly due to his workers' compensation claim. We filed the death claim. We just won it. The widow now is going to enjoy lifelong financial coverage. These are very difficult situations, but if they're handled properly, handled delicately, we give the widow the legal advice. Now, whether she wanted to pursue it or not was entirely her decision, but after I explained to her the law and my belief that we could win this case and get the evidence, she decided to pursue the death claim, and I'm glad she did, because now she'll be taking care of the rest of her life.